Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem, Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim, Assalamu-alaikum, Ji Ayanu, Pakhair Ragale, Ni Hao, Chunashumme, Washmale, Ohai Gazaimas, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Piviet, Kaifahal, Halishuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalam, Araba, Abuna, Mucho, Gracias, Swami, Aballi Karaya, Hosh Galden and Ayasaya, Huyamora, Chivato, Chihal, Jod, Kalimera, Khairutan, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV1 and watching what this morning. Alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Hajar Satti. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Hajar, Assalamu alaikum. How's the weather treating you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Shahzad. Jazakallah khair for introducing me. Shahzad, last night it was the full moon and there's a lot of romanticism regarding the full moon. So poets have written a lot, eulogizing the beauty with the full moon, its shimmering glow. But there was a very interesting research that I came across.
What's
and
that?
It was about how full moon affects our sleep patterns.
Really?
Or lunar cycle affects our sleep patterns. And you probably have listened to this word called lunatic, right?
Yeah.
Which means, you know, you're going crazy or something, right? So it was believed in the ancient times, especially the Romans and the Greeks believed that the full moon affects your sleeping patterns, and because of that it affects a lot of, or exerts a lot of force or energy on your emotions, and that was why regarding when there's a full moon you feel the intensity in the emotions. However, there is no research backing this up. It might be a myth, it might be a folk tale, or it might be a reality depending upon how you believe it, but the research done by the University of Washington, in which they actually studied the 3 different communities, indigenous Argentinian communities, and also the students of America living in the different cities at different times, and they observed their sleeping patterns.
Yeah.
And what they found was that during when the days when the preceding were the full moon, their sleep pattern was disturbed, so they were sleeping less. And so it is said that the full moon or the moon exerts some sort of influences on our sleeping pattern. That is a scientifically backed research, but the research was in itself very interesting because it also sparks a lot of conversations that how moon cycles or lunar cycles affects our emotions. And you have seen that in Islam our calendar is related to the lunar cycle, right? It's not related to the solar cycle as compared to the Georgian calendar, which is a Western calendar.
But you know, speaking of this research, so is this research more theoretical, or do you think it's more?
I mean, it's a peer-reviewed. It was an article published in a peer-reviewed journal, and it was a scientifically backed research.
And the reason why I'm asking this question is because just last night I think I felt that, you know, I've slept more rather than usual as well.
So I think on a full moon?
Yeah.
No. They slept less.
They slept, right? But you know, I think
the days preceding to the full moon, right? Not on the full moon. Yes.
All right. So on the full moon, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a good night's sleep, and that's exactly what we hope for you as well. But other than sleep, Hajar, there is one more thing which I believe is very important. So sleep is important. Yes, rest is important. Your muscles develop while you're sleeping and whatnot. But I guess it's what you eat is something which is the most important. And that certainly happens to be the root cause of a lot of diseases and illnesses in this world as of today. And it's hard to understand for us, because imagine ever since then we were growing up, you know, we have been eating desi parathas, pie, nihari, you know, you talk of it, you know, or speak of it, harissa, halim, fast foods and whatnot. So ladies and gentlemen, what are these fast foods doing to us? I think that's something that we really need to talk about. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody to talk about or talk on importance of healthy eating today. She happens to be a corporate health expert, consultant nutritionist and dietitian. She is Dr. Varda. Hello, Dr. Varda. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me. A very good, happy morning to everyone. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. But the first question happens to be, what did you eat in the morning?
I eat paratha. Sadly, I eat paratha today.
Why sadly?
With
it's
egg
yummy
and
food,
yogurt.
no?
With egg and yogurt. All right. So we'll explore more about it. But first of all, why do you think that people should be more aware about healthy eating habits and whatnot? So what is the importance of this entire topic that we're going to discuss with you
Or
today?
holistic.
First of all, you very beautifully start that we are what we eat.
Yeah.
Actually, our body determines our impact on our health. Firstly, initially, is our diet. First of all, the most important thing is that if we have no energy, we are unable to do anything. We can't move from bed to our office or any place.
Yeah.
So health is the most important thing, and along with health, diet has a major role. If we not eat healthy, we are unable to do our tasks or anything. So without health, we are nothing.
उनकी रोटी ना खाई होवे राणे ने राणा चलता ही नहीं है.
Right, and I think nowadays I have observed another trend, especially among the younger people, which is about the binge eating, right? Or especially when they are having food and they are constantly watching something out there. Either they are watching, I mean, the programs or the Netflix or the seasons or the serials. So do you think this is a very healthy habit, you know, while watching and also engaging in the eating?
In a modern era, we are moving in 2023 and now in 2024, we don't go for mindful eating. The major issue is that we eat just for our satisfaction.
Yeah.
We didn't bother that what we are eating. We just focus that we are happy like what we have.
Yeah.
Screening is the most bad element. Like while screening, we don't know how much we eat. We compromised on quality, quantity, as well as we also compromised on our gut. You know, we have two guts, one in brain and one in stomach. When we are watching like a movie or a very curious series, we just focus on series. We didn't bother that how much we are eating, and even that we our satiety hormone get upset from that. We didn't satisfy like how much. So this is a very bad thing. We must go for mindful eating. It really helps for the sake of quality, quantity, and healthy eating patterns.
All right, and you know, while we were talking about healthy eating patterns as well, how do you think any individual right from the beginning of his or her life can actually develop healthier eating habits? How do you think that we can do that? And do you think that while you were growing up, you had healthy eating habits?
I think mother's lap is the best school for healthy eating initiating. You know that if we see that God made this thing like the concept of breastfeed, from the lap of mom we go for healthy eating.
True.
Like we are like our body nature is totally organic. So I think that from toddlers, adults, this is the best time to teach them, because if we have healthy habits from that type, these habits cover through the life cycles.
No, but imagine now the problem is that, you know, so obviously when we were growing up, there was a stage that, you know, we wanted to fill in our plates ourselves. You know, we were like, okay, ma, you know, please make sure that you do not put anything in my plate. I'll do it myself. And we ended up putting a lot more than what we were supposed to consume. And what happens is that when you leave it behind, your mother will stand on your head and will be like, now you will have to finish it. So imagine that ever since that period of our life, 4 or 5 years, we have been overeating anyways. And every Pakistani these days, well, not every, but you know, most of the Pakistanis will always have a belly bulge no matter what happens, and it's not going anywhere. I think that's what they're worried about.
You are right. Actually, we didn't teach our kids about the balanced eating concept, about the healthy plate concept. That
this much fruit, this much vegetable, this much protein.
From the childhood, we should teach them like they are carbs, they are proteins, they are fats. You have one portion of carbs, one of proteins, and this healthy plate build you a healthy body.
Yeah.
That's the important concept. And I think in schools, it is very important that school se hi jo hai wo habit develop ki jaye, so it will more beneficial.
Right. So Dr. Vardhan, now when we're talking about holistic nutrition, let's talk about people who are highly sensitive persons, right? And their nervous system is differently working, and obviously their eating habits are differently. So walk us through how they should be, mindfully engaging in the eating habits.
First of all, holistic approach is a very beautiful approach for our health. You know, our body is made from emotions, our mental health, our gut health, our digestive system. Overall, these elements build our totally body. So I think it is very important that we focus on every element. Like if we had a good lifestyle, we eat on time, we sleep on time, good hormones release in our body. And you talk about the food sensitive regarding gut health. You know what? We have two guts, one in our brain and one in our stomach. When we are in anxiety, we didn't say like, we eat. We just eat for our satisfaction, not for the sake of hunger. So same in the case of like the persons which have gut sensitivity, they have maybe like compromised gut, due to which their dietary pattern should be changed, and according to your body you should modify your eating patterns and everything.
And what sort of changes or alteration do you suggest in that diet?
In that diet, the mindful eating concept is very important.
Okay.
You know that what you are eating, focus on your plate, how much you are eating, focus on the time, quality, quantity. These three are the major factors like on which you should focus and go.
And you know, so while we're at it and we're talking about it, and you know, we do consume a lot of desi ghee, we do consume you know, different sort of oils. You know, I believe that, you know, we might be the only nation who actually eat fat orally as well. You know, we love dumba kadai and Afghani tikke and whatnot. You know, so imagine, probably, you know, I think it's shocking for anybody to kind of listen to this as well, that we consume fat orally ourselves. You know, we are like, okay, hey, you know what, fat, come here, we're going to eat you. And not just that, I think on top of that, carbonated drinks, on top of that, you know, snacking and there's so many things that kids are doing these days. These jellies are out there. How do you think, you know, when we talk about all of these problems, how many of these problems, I'm going to name a few, you know, heart attacks, cholesterol, uric acid,
diabetes,
I think diabetes, yes, and obesity, all of these illnesses and diseases. Do you think that the root cause is only because of the food choices that you've made?
I already told many times that diet and health is not a fun.
Okay.
We eat in a fun. We didn't think that we are eating a lot of fats just for that. I just love hamburger. That's why I am eating hamburger.
Yeah.
We should think about our health at that sake. And you are exactly right. The root cause of every disease is diet.
We certainly don't eat
you see that
away,
if you eat salad in a day, you feel light. You feel more energetic.
No, it's not tasty at all. I mean, घास-फूसी खानी है फिर यार मतलब क्या जिंदगी में ये मजा भी ना लें आप. You know, that's the very common notion that, you know, okay, salads. I mean, salads are boring. There are a few good salads, but then those salads aren't healthy.
And I think I would like to echo Shahzad what he is saying, because whenever I'm feeling hungry, the first thing that comes into my mind is, I mean, pakode, samosa, or maybe nuggets,
chips.
or the fried things, right? So is the tasty food always a healthy food? In our
we can approach that. We can make tasty food in healthy options. Like we can go for green salad. We can go for shallowing frying. Like these also prevent us from heart diseases.
Now we have air fryers as well, you know, so
yes,
we can be smart.
There are a lot of solutions. If we think that we will go for healthy options along with the fun, like in a blue moon, even though nutritionists also enjoy all the certain things, but in a blue moon it is perfectly, but don't make it as a habit, because you know that the root cause of every disease, like if you take more animal protein, you have uric acid. If you take more refined carbs, you have diabetes. If you take more salts, you have hypertension. More carbonated drinks, more obesity. So we should focus on, and the most important element is that moderation is key. In a blue moon, you should, and physical activity plays a lot. We didn't focus, like we just focus on what we are eating, and we're not working on burning. That's the major problem, right?
And I think that is also contributing towards the obesity, because if you see in Pakistan, I always say it is a land of contradictions, land of paradoxes, because at one time you will see there is so much poverty, but at the same time in those communities you will see the people are so obese there because they are not engaging mindfully in the eating habits. But Dr. Verda, please walk us through, if a woman is in her 40s, is approaching her 40s, what should be her dietary routine, which should be a more holistic approach to her living?
And does it make a difference if you're 40, 50 or 30 or 60?
Is the age group, I mean, does it make any difference?
When we talk on women health, we just focus on fertility health. And at that time, women must focus on their health. When they move in 40s, they didn't focus like, I have kids, I have everything. I didn't focus on that thing. But you know what? At 40s, this is the ideal time at which we should focus more, because like you are moving backward, you're like you have menopausal time, osteoporosis, many certain. So at that time, it is very important. You should focus on all the macros and micronutrient deficiencies, like the deficiency of B complexes, calcium, vitamin D is very common at that time. So we should must engage calcium, vitamin D, good sources sources, like we have seeds, yogurt, dairy, that kind of things. Along with that, you should have diversity of healthy eating at that time, because when we focus, like at that time patients say me that we just eat a simple diet plan which have only chapati or curry or that thing, but at that time you must have diversity. Your body needs calcium, vitamin D, your hairs need biotin. So at that time you go for balanced eating with along with healthy options, like go for lean choices of protein, complex carbohydrates, healthy unsaturated fats.
Wonderful.
And make your life simple along with
Wow.
healthy habits.
So, you know, I think what we should do over here is that we should actually give everybody a diet plan today, you know, because you're over here, we should take advantage of it from breakfast till, you know, dinner. You know, what would you recommend for any people for any age to eat, and you know that will certainly be considered as a healthy diet.
And timings also,
Yeah.
because I think timings plays important
So,
role
and
here.
would you recommend, you know, 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day? How many meals
Before
a day?
telling a healthy diet plan, initially I just want to say my lovely audience that it is very important. Diet plan is very important in our
Okay.
routine. We didn't focus on it, but if we focus on a healthy diet plan, our timings will improve, our digestion will improve, our food quality will improve, our food quantity will
And
improve.
we will feel great as well.
Yes,
Exactly.
for
So
sure.
let's get started.
Okay,
How many
yes.
meals a day, first of all?
First of all, we have 5 major meals in a day.
5 major meals a day. Okay, I'm going to go bankrupt.
In breakfast, lunch, dinner, you have measure all the macros.
yes.
ठीक है?
Okay.
Carbohydrates, proteins, fats. First of all, you should start your day with a warm glass of water with chia seed if you have like gut related issue or digestive issue. Then in breakfast, you must take carbohydrates, not refined carbs like white carbs. Don't take white carbs, they are not good for health. It cause insulin resistance
What, brown
and
bread?
then
What?
obesity as well as insulin resistance.
So what would you recommend to, you know?
Oatmeal is a very good option. Multigrain flour is a very good option. You can take multigrain bread, multigrain chapati.
Or chapatis.
Along with that, you should take whole wheat chapati, as well as must take 1 portion of healthy protein. You can consume egg or any protein curry.
Yep.
And healthy fat or dairy source along with that. You can consume like yogurt, lassi, or if you feel very low at breakfast, you should take 1 glass of fresh juice along with that,
Okay.
like any fresh or seasonal
Right.
fruit. Then we have snack time. In snack time, we must focus on the micronutrients, like the thing which have a lot of boost with vitamins and minerals.
Badam pista?
Yes,
Okay.
1 fist of nuts you can take. You can take fresh fruits, seasonal fruits, or raw vegetable. In lunch, we should take a very nourishment bowl type of thing. Like you can go for a green salad bowl, go for like kebab or chicken proteins, because at the mid of day our energy gets low and
Yes.
our muscles get stiff because of work and everything. So it is in that time protein is very important.
Okay.
You can consume any lentils, legumes, or a salad bowl kind of thing.
Wonderful.
And
And dinner?
then we have snack like the tea time.
Okay.
And that's the thing in
Chap,
which
you know,
we
the
do a lot
Pakistan
of
ka comic
wrong
khel.
things, like we go for junk, we go for
Bakar
deep
khani,
fried,
yes.
processed foods, like
Rusk.
we think that this is a tea time,
Cake
this is
rusk.
me time.
Daboge chai mein.
Many patients told me that this is the only time for us.
Yeah.
So this is the only time in which you can rebuild your body.
Okay.
Then go for, like you can go for any caffeine sources like coffee, tea, green tea. Along with that you can take nuts or like shami kebab, that kind of thing. Or after that we have dinner. In dinner it is very important, take your dinner on time, like 8:30 you should done with your dinner.
Okay.
In dinner you should take 1 chapati along with any curry with less oil.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Vardha, for being with us, and thank you so much for giving us a very holistic approach towards our nutrition, diet, and healthy eating habits as well. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that we bid farewell to Dr. Vardha. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
with
much.
us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lovely to be in conversation with you. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot these kids are doing these days for our awareness, you know, may it be
And the
healthy
health
eating.
of our, planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
may it
Welcome back, and before going on to the break, Shahzad alluded to the fact that we are going to talk about the health of our planet, which is in the crisis. And certainly we can feel the effects of our ailing planet in ourselves, because if our water is not right, our health is not right, right? If our food is not right, we do not feel very great. We are sometimes unable to express that, voice that, but we certainly feel the differences in our health, and that is why the entire nature is in synergy, it is very synergized, and we feel that if Earth is not doing well, we are not doing well. So without any further ado, without any monopolizing our conversations, we would like to introduce our guests, because they are doing something to tackle this climate crisis, which is striking the world with a greater intensity, especially nowadays. We see that there is a lot of conversation. In November, we had the conference, COP conference on it, in which people talked about curbing the fossil fuels, and there was lots of other conversations regarding that. But what exactly is our country doing it to tackle it? Because we are the most vulnerable country in the fight against the climate change. And I think the most interesting aspect and the most unfortunate aspect is that we do not have any contribution in producing the carbon, what do you call the emissions?
Exactly, it's 0.001. And in addition to this, Haja, you know, you very rightfully mentioned that, you know, it's totally about the health of our planet as well. And we certainly do feel that, you know, that we these days are not feeling really well as well. Imagine you go to Lahore, there's this issue of smoke, people are coming in with viruses. Yes. Now, this time around in this season, while it was converging into, or we were transcending towards winters, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that this viral came in, which is not just, you know, which is not just leaving us alone as well. So what is the country doing is something that we have talked about, we have spoken about most of the times. But what are the people, what are the students of the country, of different universities doing? What initiatives are they taking to spread the awareness? I think we really need to kind of pay rich tribute to Namal University, because their students are over here and they're doing something wonderful, which we would want them to kind of express and share with all of our viewers who are out there. So first up, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by an ex-Pakistan television, and obviously a Namal student, happens to be a change advocate for the country, who's actually going places, different places, making sure that they are going to kind of raise awareness about climate change so that people are more aware of their actions. Very lucky that we have been joined by Mr. Naufal. Hello Naufal, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Walaikum Assalam, I am fine, and thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you so much for joining us, wonderful to have you over here. And alongside Mr. Naufal, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Ms. Rida Shahzad. Both of them happen to be students at Namal University. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum Assalam, I am fine. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you so much for joining us, wonderful to have you over here. So what is your university doing, and what are you two amazing students of Pakistan doing to raise awareness about climate change?
We have recently started our campaign, that is with the title of Climate Care, and our department is actually supporting us. They are throughout that campaign, they are assisting us how to launch different campaigns, and we are basically for this purpose we are going public and private sector universities for launch our awareness campaigns. Along with that, we are in coordination with Ministry of Climate Change and Environment for further collaboration.
Oh, wow.
And for that, we are in contact with that, and we are planning to further participate in plantation drives, and we are doing awareness campaigns.
So do you think that those plantation drives that, you know, that we've seen taking place within the country are the only solution for the most, or amongst the most vulnerable countries when we talk about climate change? Do you think that's the only solution? Because I'm very sorry, but we certainly, our audiences would like to know the kind of awareness you guys have already, which you are imparting to other people or audiences.
Along with that plantation drive, I think the first and the most important thing is that the people of Pakistan are not aware about the consequences, and like they are not aware about the climate change. What is climate change? What is global warming? They are even not aware about the difference between the climate change and the global warming.
Okay.
Like we have already mentioned that we have conducted work in the different private and public sector universities. Among
what happens when you guys go for that particular walk?
First of all, the students are not even concerned about that topic.
Okay.
They are not even participate in the awareness walks.
It's boring for them, you know. So why are you using those tools which are not really very impactful for the awareness?
Right,
reasons.
and I think it's a, I don't know, is there any scientific evidence to back this up that the people are not aware? Because I do believe that we are very aware of what is happening in our country, because when the floods strike, and that too from the south of the country, and they move towards the north of the country, that was a huge aberration, that was a huge fallacy in our climate pattern, because we have never witnessed flooding in Balochistan, and the indigenous communities, the farmer communities whose fields were destroyed, because our team witnessed the first hand destruction, because we went there on the reporting. So people were aware of what is happening there, and especially the communities who are living in this vulnerable places like Diya Khan, where there was a massive flood. They were aware of what is happening there, right? So I think awareness part, we are aware of that because our country is witnessing the effect. But when it comes to taking the action, that is where we are lacking, right?
And
So
taking that action, that too outside Pakistan, I think
Right.
that's something
That
important, because
requires-
we're not even contributing.
and
this.
that requires a global effort to curb the carbon emissions, because they are responsible for creating such sort of ozone depletion, which is causing a lot of climate crisis in our planet Earth, right? So what are you doing in this regard, right?
At the beginning of our campaign, we felt like people are not taking us our campaign seriously, and we have faced backlash in that. But with some time,
Passing
we
time.
have felt that they have started encouraging us due to our different activities that we have done in our campaign.
Exactly.
As you talked about plantation drives, I would say that if someone is asked about any plantation drive, they would think that it is enough to save climate, but it is not enough. Our major issue is increasing number of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere.
That's true.
So we should have make certain measurements to tackle that.
And when we talk about that, Mayez, I'm sorry I'm disrupting you,
No, no
Shahzad, because it requires a holistic change and a behavioral change on a personal level, and it's very difficult because we are so attuned to the luxuries, right? I mean, we move on the cars, curbing that emission requires a lot of efforts, right? And that requires a very, I would say, 360-degree change in our behavior. So do you think it's easy to attain that behavioral changes, because changing our lifestyle, which is so attuned to all of these luxuries, which is contributing towards the climate change, do you think that is possible?
Whoever wants to answer this, yeah. Do you think आप अपनी आदतें बदलेंगे? पाकिस्तान की
sure.
बेहतरी के लिए, क्लाइमेट चेंज को रोकने के लिए, उसको पेस डाउन करने के लिए, are you going to change your habits, or have you already?
Sure, I would try, and I am already trying.
Did you buy yourself a new bicycle?
No.
then how are you going to do that? Because
I think
we keep on talking about fossil fuels and the carbon emissions and whatnot. We're using the air conditioners ourselves. We're using the geysers at our places.
There's a
We're
huge
using
carbon
the cars.
footprint that we are
So
using,
we're
yeah.
not changing anything about it. How do you think that awareness will certainly show its impact, those campaigns that you're doing, if the people who are running the campaign are not abiding by what climate friendly conditions really demand for us to kind of change the behavior of whatever our day-to-day life is? How do you think that's going to happen? अगर मैं खुद ही नहीं बदल रहा और मैं कैंपेन कर रहा हूँ कि सर क्लाइमेट चेंज जो है ना बड़ा ज़रूरी है और आपको उसके बारे में पता होना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं अपनी गाड़ी खुद ही चलाऊंगा, मैं अपने एसी भी चलाऊंगा, मैं अपने फ्रिज भी चलाऊंगा, फिर कैसे होगी तब्दीली कैसे आएगी फिर?
I would say the NGOs and Ministry of Climate Change, they should
the
assist
bodies
us.
that are assisting on that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Hopefully I interrupt you.
It's okay.
Like they are the main bodies. They make the laws, but they do not implement that.
Okay.
But being an individual, being a student, what I do is that basically, first of all, I have to create awareness. Other than that, government ministries like Ministry of Climate Change and Environment and other NGOs should take part in that, and they actively implement those laws which they have already
Exactly, and thank you so much for saying that. And since you guys are students, I'm not saying that that you guys, that the initiative that you have taken is not a great initiative. It's a wonderful initiative, and to see students like you kind of taking part in making sure that they want this place for the future generations to be more safe, more healthier, and that we are not vulnerable against climate change is something which is beautiful. But for you to kind of go outside and then represent, I think is something which is really very important as well. And with these local initiatives or domestic initiatives that you've taken, do you think that you guys are planning to go international and talk with international bodies who are responsible globally for the implementation of such policies as well? Do you think that you're going to take those initiatives?
And what are the end results that you want to achieve with this campaign?
Okay, the first thing I will answer your question कि हम end results की बात कर रहे हैं. We end results सबसे पहले जो हमें अपने like throughout the
Can you speak
campaign.
in English? I'm
Okay,
sorry. Yes.
throughout the campaign that we feel that like you think that awareness is not the only solution to that. I knew
Right.
that awareness is not the only solution, but it is the first and the foremost effective
True.
step that we have to take on in order to combat the climate change. Then other than that, we have to we are in like coordination with the different climate change analysts who has participated in the COP 28 recently, and we are further engaged with that for the further interviews and discussions, and we are planning to have a seminar with climate change expert. And
we would want to wish you best of luck as well, you know, for your future endeavors, because this is something which is very heartwarming for me, Haja, our entire team and our viewers to see that the children or the future generations of Pakistan are actually working for the betterment of the country. So please, may you continue, and may Allah always give you success in whatever endeavors you do for the country and for yourselves as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
No
much.
further,
Thank you so
and thank you
much.
so
Thank
much,
you so
Rida,
much.
for being
Thank
with
you.
us. Lovely to
Thank
be in
you. Thank you
conversation
so
with you
much.
guys.
Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out towards a short break, because no matter how many problems you'll have in your life, there's one thing. Well, not only that thing, but yes, certainly, but you
It's
can
an
certainly
energizer.
sing it away.
Yeah.
All right, so that's something that we were doing right after, you know, this segment as well. We're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back, and we will sing it away.
तू ही मेरी जिंदगी, तू ही मेरी आरज़ू, बरसों से ना जाने क्यों खामोश है, खामोश है, खामोश है। तू ही मेरी जिंदगी, तू ही मेरी आरज़ू, बरसों से ऐसे नशे में मदहोश है, मदहोश है, मदहोश है। मिलके देखे ख्वाब में जो कल, प्यार में बीते हुए वो पल, आओ कर लें इस प्यार को अमर। तू ही मेरी जिंदगी, तू ही मेरी आरज़ू, प्यार में दिल हर लम्हे खामोश है, मदहोश है, मदहोश है। मिलके देखे ख्वाब में वो कल, आओ कर लें इस साथ को अमर, आओ कर लें इस साथ को अमर, आओ कर लें इस साथ को अमर।
आप हैं Shahryar Mirza. Thank you so much, Shahryar, for joining us over here in the PTV World Studios.
Thank you, Ji.
On
Thank
World
you.
this morning. How are you, buddy?
Alhamdulillah, all is well. Yeah,
It's been a long time, yeah.
It's good to see you.
And it's so good to see you. Thank you so
Same
much. And for
here.
everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, Shahryar Mirza started his solo music career back in 2003. And won a Lux Style Award for Emerging Talent as well for the song. I think we've written all the songs over here as well. but a great guy. And whenever we came across, I think it was always, we were always vibing as well. So good to see you. Where have you been busy? And for all your fans who are out there, I think they are going to ask the same question as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, last we met, हम आए हुए थे शो पे और उस टाइम पे एक तो हमने सरगम का खिलाड़ी
Can we do it in English?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, of course. So the last time we were here, of course, we met and then we had Sargam Ke Khiladi, my side project.
Yep.
That time I had put out Hum Nasheen. And then, of course, after that, I've been busy. I've been doing a few songs. I did this song called Kaise Jaane Do.
Yep.
And that was in 2021 during COVID. So that was quite an interesting song. Last
What
year,
was the inspiration behind it?
Kaise Jaane Do?
Yes.
A lot of A.R. Rahman.
Okay.
Listening to a lot of
That's wonderful.
film
I
music.
think we will really have the lots of me time in a solitude time, especially in the COVID, and we can really carve up
Yeah.
our artistic potential, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the few times I got, I actually took time out of my day job
Yes.
to actually just focus, and because we were all working from home,
Yes. Yeah.
all of a sudden the creative juices were really flowing.
Exactly, exactly.
I think it's wonderful. But you know, let's talk about a solo music career. You know, so do you think that a solo music career is more solid than having a band or whatnot? Because you are a complete band yourself. You know, you play mandolin, you play guitar, you
Sure.
play harmonica.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many instruments that you play yourself. So you never needed, you know, band members. You were like, okay, I just want to do it myself. It's for me.
You know, when you're a songwriter, you do have a bit of an advantage. The edge is that you can hear the music, you obviously
While
come
you're
up with the
writing it,
lyrics,
right?
and so in the end, you're like, I can just deal with session musicians.
Yeah.
And also, bands don't have a lot of longevity. There's a lot of politics that
Yeah.
eventually do creep up, you know, and that's just how relationships work.
And that's how bands have been, right?
And they've disintegrated, yeah, over the
Imagine
time,
if
yes.
strings can fall apart.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can fall apart, right? That's it.
Exactly. And also, I'm a bit of a control freak because if it's my song, then it has to be a certain way. So the session musicians that I've been so privileged. Even I got a chance to work with Amir Zaki. He played on a couple of my songs, 2010. You know, God bless his soul, and you know, Asad Ahmed and other musicians over the years.
And ever since Sarmad Bhai moved to Islamabad, do you think that was a great opportunity for all of us to go and visit him, right?
Sarmat, though, I have known since Peshawar. I used to go to, I used to catch a wagon and go record demos, and since 2001.
And you know, so Sharia, you know, you're one of those musicians who's a very well-established musician over here in the country and very well respected, very well reputed as well. For children these days, because you know, it was back then when we were in studying in our universities, it was more of a thing that, you know, you'll have a guitar, everybody boys will kind of envy you. You know, the girls would kind of romanticize with you, you know, things like that. यार ये guitar लेके आ जाता है तो सब इसी के पीछे. What would you recommend to kids these days that if you want to do music, because now we see Hassan Rahim, young stunners,
Of course.
you know, kids like that who kind of, I'm very sorry, you know, if somebody is going to kind of take offense of it, but they're mumbling these days, you know, it's not more of a singing or sur or tal or utar or chadhao,
Sure.
but it's more like,
Completely,
so
completely.
It has changed.
Music has changed drastically over the last 25 years. I must say that, and with technology, I think it's both a blessing and a curse. Because back in the day, there was only PTV and you know, maybe a couple of private channels just popping up, and so you know, there wasn't a lot of competition. And if you got airspace, you didn't really have to be super talented. Let's be honest.
Okay.
With Music 89 and then the other bands that followed after, you know, there was.
And you've been releasing music regularly on radio as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been putting out a lot of music. So, but very early on, I decided, I took my own personal decision not to take music professionally, but as a side project or as a passion. And that has kind of helped because
to keep the balance,
because again, you said advice for the youngsters. I would say that first of all, don't give up your day job yet. For every names you took recently up there, for every Natasha Beg, Natasha Nurani, Natasha Ijaz, there are many other Natashas who probably are struggling,
True.
who are probably trying to make it, or perhaps are not just very talented. But they have to work on it. For me, it was a hustle. All our lives have been a hustle. Growing up in the 90s, early 2000s has been, it was like you just had to be
There's so many changes in
on
the
it,
era,
and you had to deal with the roll with the punches. I feel that there is a bit of an elitism also attached to
Yes,
music.
yes.
Let's be very honest that if you come from a place of privilege,
Yes.
a certain amount of entitlement, your parents will get you a guitar or a
That's true.
drum set very early on in life, which can open a lot of doors, and
Right.
also being a certain diplomat's son or something can also help open a lot of doors.
Obviously, well-connectedness is
Yeah,
always
but
a
you know, I have a slight disagreement over here.
But
too.
we can move on from
Yeah,
that. I think when it comes to the mumbling and all the other genres of music, I think it's really, really about keeping a pulse on what's current and what's relevant.
Okay.
And these days, in the age of TikTok, we didn't have that back in the day, but we, and also, it hindered our development as musicians. Because, you know, now you have everything on DIY videos on YouTube. Now kids have this, what I call a blessing and a curse. So the blessing
Self-taught.
part is that amazing access, no more excuses.
Yeah.
Everything is out there. You can master everything. You can even be a master chef if you want. It's not really music, but it is music to
That's
my
true.
ears.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Being a foodie. Having said that, the curse element is that you could be relevant only for 5 minutes. So 5 minutes of fame jo
Yes.
kehlata hai na?
Yes,
And then you could never have that follow-up. You could have your
Yes.
1 pound fish. You could have that
Yes.
one song, you know, the
Virality
Gangnam Style or
element, yes.
But
Not
Pineapple, whatever
sustainable.
song that
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
But how do you follow up? So I think it's very fleeting. It's 7 seconds of, up to 7 seconds hain, which you
That's
call
true, that's
of
true.
fame. So
Attention span, yeah.
I think, and the thing going viral is it's become a bit of a hit and miss.
So what you're trying to say is that, you know, be relevant.
Be relevant. Keep doing your music because it'll just take that one song, and so you know the thing is.
Eye to eye.
Well, okay, so that's a very good point. I
Yeah.
think you either have to be really good at what you do or really bad at
Or
what you do.
Shahat Fateh Ali Khan.
So exactly, if you're a
I mean,
parody,
imagine what people are
see,
trying
there's
to
a big
consume.
market for that, right?
Yeah.
Big market for being. So you're so bad, you're good, or you're so good that you stand out like so many great musicians that you just mentioned.
right, so
Hip hop, all these great.
Exactly.
So before wrapping up this segment, can we listen to another song, please?
And what are your fans in for? You know, this year, 2024, do you think that they are expecting more music?
Yeah, I'm working on some new music, a couple of Urdu songs, and trying to do a few gigs around the embassies and the local circle here, because I've got a sort of a band, a cover band.
Yeah,
but
wow.
it's fun because if we can entertain and make people smile, I think in these distressing times, I think
That's a blessing,
that's a
right?
blessing. So,
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
So-
Mr. Sharia, for coming here and for making sure that there are lots of melodies in our studio. And with that, we will say Allah Hafiz to you. But before going and bidding you farewell, we would like to listen to a song. So Allah
Let's sing
Hafiz.
it away.
All right. La 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 देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था खो गए सपनों में हम देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था खो गए सपनों में हम दुनिया हमें अब जो कहे दुनिया की रस्मों को तोड़ तोड़ चले राहें हमें अब जो कहे राहों की बाहों को तोड़ तोड़ चले दुनिया हमें अब जो कहे दुनिया की रस्मों को छोड़ छोड़ चले राहें हमें अब जो कहे राहों की बाहों को तोड़ तोड़ चल देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था खो गए सपनों में हम जब से मिला हमें प्यार तेरा चेहरा हंसी लगे बार बार तेरा हाँ तुझे दिल में बसाएंगे करना पड़े ना इंतजार यार तेरा देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था